Why did everyone get quiet?
It's just anticipation for the beginning.
For all those Randys that listen to us quietly in the background.
Randy who?
Wait, so how does that app work again? Just like one more time.
All right, so a little plug for Podcoin.
Podcoin.
It's the podcast app that pays you to listen to it.
So people get coins, Podcoins?
Well, you get
for
like
listening?
points, and then you can add up the points. You can get
You're
like
telling me
Amazon
that
gift
there's
cards.
an app called Podcoin,
Yes.
and if you listen to a podcast on Podcoin,
Yep.
you don't get Podcoins. You get points.
Well, I mean, you could call them Podcoins if
I'm
you
calling
want.
them Podcoins.
Yeah, you get.
And
you
they
get,
should too.
You get a pile of gold Podcoins.
Yeah.
And you could swim in like Scrooge McDuck in a giant vault, except for they're not real; they're digital.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, thanks to everyone who listened to us on Podcoin today. Also, welcome to episode 4 of the Steamboat Comedy Podcast. My name is Kyle Ruff. Going around the circle to my right is Mr. Dominic Marzuka.
Yep, that's me.
There he is.
Kind of straight ahead.
Yeah, well, I guess you're kind of.
Also, they can use their imagination. Fuck them.
Yeah, well, I hope that they imagine that we're in like a really fancy studio and not just like in my room. Also, to his right is the Redneck Ranger himself, the boy who lived.
Ooh, I like that one. I like both of those so much. They're my
Styles
favorite.
Manchez, a.k.a.
It's actually my other favorite. They're all my favorites, actually.
You're my favorite, next to Spencer.
Shit.
Spencer's leaving though, so
Yes.
you're rising up in the ranks. You're getting promoted.
Yeah, I got that spot waiting for you. But until then,
I don't know
to
if I
my
want it.
immediate left is Spencer Powell. Say hello.
Yo.
The
There he
classic Powell
What
hello.
classic? I don't know what
The
to
Mormon
say. Like,
hello.
yeah, either I think
Yo.
about it too much or I just don't think about it at all. But either way, it just comes out dumb every time, so I just don't even try.
No,
That's
it
how you
came
answer
out
the phone
beautiful.
too. Like that's how you answer the phone. That's how you say good morning.
Well,
that's how you.
yeah.
That's probably what you say in the bedroom.
Can I
too.
just say this
yo,
about Spencer?
Yo, yo,
when
yo.
we're all setting up for a podcast,
We're
I feel like
roommates. You know what I
Spencer.
say in the bedroom.
I feel like we're all like feeling that anticipation of hitting the record button.
Right.
And Spencer's the only one who's sitting wide-eyed, like, why is everyone acting different? You know, he's just like looking at it, just like, I'm fine.
It's like we had to like wake him up. Like Spencer, we
Hey,
started.
we
He's
started.
like, huh? What?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yo. All right. So, thank you all for listening, and thanks for everyone who's been listening to the first 3 episodes. We think they've been fun. Today, we're gonna do another one of our Spencer Powell patented. I can't speak.
Patented.
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 Patent. Yeah. Why?
It's like Tat and Ted.
Why are we all having so much
Patented.
trouble saying this word?
Dude.
I wanted to correct you, be like, I got this. Watch this, bro. I can save you. Then I was like,
Copyrighted.
Copyright.
Problem solved.
Yes, there we go. The original name by Spencer Powell called The Laugh Lab, where we look at some of the comedy shows we did in the past and talk about it a little bit. The last one we did, episode 2, was Desperation Day, our first show, and that show was great. And a lot of people who have been listening have kind of told us, like, what do you guys just make this podcast so you can jerk each other off and talk about, like, how great you think you are?
We're already naked.
Which, I mean, yeah. I mean, we're going to jerk off. But going over this one, the second show we did was a St. Patrick's Day show, and it was not quite as smooth. So, for a few minor reasons which we'll get into. But so if it seems like we're just sitting here talking about how great we are, this one will give you kind of an inside look. Again, we always try to frame this as like we're making this up as we go. This is how we're doing it. This was one that had a little bit of adversity, you could say. Is that a good euphemism?
Yeah.
It was a, quote, drunken shit show, according to some people.
Yeah.
if our first comedy was Star Wars: A New Hope, the next one was definitely Empire Strikes Back. Faux
Wait,
show.
no.
Except
no,
we,
no, no.
except
That's
we
a
were
completely
except
wrong
we were the
analogy.
Empire and we struck ourselves.
No,
Ah,
the
okay.
second one was Attack of the Clones. The first one was The New Hope. The second one's Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Why?
We
Wait,
went
why?
straight.
Why?
We went
Why?
straight to midichlorians that quick. Like,
You're getting
like
way
we,
too deep.
we didn't even get any loop for it.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like
The point he's making is that Empire is the best Star Wars movie. It's the second
yeah, but
one.
it's also the
not
second
there
act.
yet.
Like it's like where shit like. The heroes don't win in that
you're
one.
right.
Shit gets
The
real.
heroes
Yeah.
do not win in
Okay,
Empire
yeah,
Strikes
they get
Back.
clobbered.
Luke Skywalker loses his hand.
I
Han
see where you're
Solo
going.
gets
His
frozen.
jerking hand too. Did you ever
Yeah,
catch on
dude.
to that?
Like,
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you think the new robot
Found out
one he
his
got
da-
was like super fast? Like,
Found out his dad was
Definitely
a
not
black
lubricated.
guy. Like, I mean, dude, shit got real in Empire. Yeah.
he was like an albino black guy though. Remember when he pulls
Yeah.
off his helmet?
Dude, yeah. So grody.
Well, I mean, you know, like I feel like a white guy, his skin doesn't see the sun for like ever. He turns like super
I
pale.
felt like
Yeah.
it was
Do
when
you
he
think a
took
black person would do that, or how pale would they get?
Like if he had those piercings. And
let's put it like this. No. Let's put it like this. When they come out of the womb, they're already black, and it's pretty dark in there.
That's a solid point.
Ah, jeez, that's I don't know. That's just real.
I mean, he makes a good point. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of
That's base level
Yeah.
white that they're gonna be.
Yeah.
So is it the day you're born? It's just like your bottom tan level, and
Yes.
then it's just only grows from there.
That's how I'm thinking.
you know
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense, Dom.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
It's
know,
a good thing we keep you around.
Science.
I'm gonna say this. Then we get back on task. But like, whenever they took Darth Vader's helmet off, I just want to say that it felt like when you take a Band-Aid off of your thumb. Like
Yes.
after it's been there for like
Yes.
4 days,
And it's all kind of like wet and
How
like
many grannies related to that moment who just like sew all day long and they have those little thumb
the thimbles,
the thimbles
thimbles?
on? They're like,
and they pull it off, and it's like,
that's Darth Vader right there all
That's-
day.
God, you guys are a bunch of fucking geniuses. You know that?
Oh.
Again,
There
I
we
guess
go.
we're too self-congratulatory.
Self-aggrandizement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, let's talk about how bad we were.
All
for
right.
real.
But first, we should mention we won't get too in depth on it because we'll do another kind of like recap podcast on it. But we did just do a big show at the Chief Theater in Steamboat.
there you go again, a big show.
it was
Chief
a
Theater.
medium-sized show, guys. It was medium.
It was the biggest one we've ever
It
done.
was okay. It was extra medium. Is that better?
Wait. How many people were
I
there?
mean, we sold out the Chief Theater, and they were even bringing in extra seats. And there were people apparently outside trying to like call in favors to get more people in, and they wouldn't let them.
Yeah, I
in.
did see a girl. I went out to get a drink, and there was a girl on her knees. But I'm just wondering how many seats were there.
Oh man,
I
I don't
don't
know
know
how
that
many
number.
how many seats you think are in the Chief Theater.
enough to fill one medium-sized community art theater.
So basically, he's saying it's about as big as a Chief Theater.
Yeah.
Again, not a great reference point. What is that?
That's very
two
specific.
walkways. Two walkways.
Yeah.
Or like imagine like back before like movie theaters got super dope, Like remember when movie theaters like didn't have IMAX and all that?
Mhm,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Like that size.
mhm.
You know?
Like the dollar theater back home.
yeah, the
for
dollar
me
yeah. Exactly.
that no one else knew about.
Right.
Except me and people in Alabama and no one else in this podcast.
About that size.
You guys have
Reference point.
movie theaters in Alabama?
Damn,
We
you guys
call them the
progressive.
pictures.
They call them moving pictures.
Yeah. Man, it's great.
Them talkies.
Yeah. I saw the Django Unchained one time.
Uh-huh.
It was dope.
In real life.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, no.
Oh, buddy.
Whoa, hey,
Hey.
hey, you're from Florida. You don't get to talk shit.
Yeah, right.
I'm your upstairs neighbor. All right, fuck you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so. But yeah, we just did the show. It went very well, and we want to say thanks to everybody who came out. We did actually get a video recording of it for once, and we'll probably put it out at some point in time whenever I get it from the guy that we allegedly paid. But we don't even have, because we paid some guy to video record it. I don't even have any pictures. I didn't put anything on Instagram or anything.
Nah.
So
As far as we know, he could have deleted the file already.
I'd be very sad.
Or
Right.
whatever. I don't know.
But yeah, no, it was great. So thanks for everyone who came out, and we'll be putting out some stuff for that soon. I don't know. Is there anything else? Any topics of discussion before we dive into this thing? Anybody?
Let's
I mean,
dive in.
Well, just real quick, it'd be kind of fun since when that video comes out, people are finally gonna see. Well, I guess we have our Instagram, so people can see our faces. Plug the Instagram at
Yeah.
Steamboat Comedy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Steamboat Comedy.
yeah.
I also did. I got the first 2 podcasts now on YouTube, and I put in some still pictures from like the shows and stuff
okay.
like that. So some people unfortunately have seen your face, Dom, and now we just lost all the
I'll-
subscribers for it.
Can we talk about those photos of Dom for a second?
Which ones?
The ones that oh man.
At the Barley.
Yeah, because Dom was the only
Sweaty.
one that I had to do like post work on. I had to edit Dom's photos. I had to change the color. I had to change the color because as Miles called them, meat sweats.
Meat sweats.
Meat
He made
sweats,
all
yeah,
of
the
your-
meat
Oh, yeah.
sweats.
Oh yeah.
He made
I'm
all
a
of your
greasy
photos-
Italian. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
He actually just made all your photos sepia. That's how he fixed it. It's just that off color.
Yeah.
Oh, sepia. Right.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
what,
I know. I was like,
sepia?
what is he? Saying?
Sepia? Is that why it's so weird? I'm not pronouncing it right.
Oh, I have no
I've
idea.
only ever read that word. I've never actually heard.
They've
somebody
never
say
said it out loud.
No, it just kind of has like an illiterate Alabama twist to it. You know what I mean?
Oh. I'm gonna need one of these Instagram hoes to just actually say how it's actually pronounced. That that you actually Instagram all the time.
Instagram hoes don't speak, Miles.
They don't.
They take pictures
They
of their
fart
butt.
out of their butt. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. And they put little Oreo cookies on them, right?
I believe they were chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, chocolate chip cookies. All right, I believe you.
What's
No.
We're gonna go just move on from that one. All right, party people. So we tried to, I guess, the story of the St. Patrick's Day show is we were coming off the high of our first big show, and so
Getting drunk for St. Patrick's Day.
well, and
Coming
yeah,
off the high and getting drunk.
basically. And Brittany, who was at the time kind of handling all of the dates and the coordination and stuff, kind of just scheduled this without a lot of discussion, so we didn't really have a ton of time to prepare. And we were all coming off the high of like, we're so good at comedy, even though we just started 3 weeks ago, and like everything will be fine. So I don't think any of us brought our super A game to that one. We just listened to it again to figure out what we were going to talk about, and it was not as good.
It
as
gave
I
me
thought it was.
anxiety.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it gave me honest anxiety. I was like, we're gonna do a podcast, talk about this right now.
Yeah. It was, I mean, and it's something you can tell that all of us, just in the last 6 months since we started doing this more regularly, we've all gotten so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've all gotten so much more polished.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of like a little blast from the past. I think, I don't know if it was beginner's luck, but the Desperation Day show was really good. And I listened back to it and I was like, man, that was super funny. And then a month later for the St. Patrick's show, and now we listen to it and we're just like, oh.
It was like a night terror.
Jeez. I mean, there was good parts, but it was So we talked about it in one of the other shows, but there's a green room downstairs, and we brought down a bottle of Jack Daniels and all drank pretty much all of it.
Hot toddies.
Yeah, there was some toddies.
Yeah, there was hot. It was cold, so obviously Kendar is like the queen of hot toddies. So she just
Oh, you're gonna put on Kendar's back.
no, but dude, I got drunk all by myself. I did not need Kendar's help, like to get drunk. Like, yeah, I got pretty crossfaded myself. Like I brought my pipe and the Jack.
He means his bagpipe.
What?
Your bagpipe.
Yeah, for St.
Yeah,
Patrick's Day,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. My bagpipe, dude. Yeah, no, we got way too inebriated.
Yeah, I was
Like-
in the like I said, I talked about this in one of the last ones, but I was just in the bottom, like the basement in the green room, just like pacing back and forth. And like when I was getting closer to it, I was like, oh, I'm too drunk. I'm too drunk. I'm gonna blow it. I'm gonna blow it. I'm gonna blow it. I'm gonna forget everything I wrote. I'm fucking so hammered. Which it went. I did actually remember everything I was gonna say. It just
So
Yeah.
on that note, like Spencer, I guess you'd be like, gotta ask, like, did we actually start? Did we record the whole thing for St. Patty's Day?
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
so I guess we just I never heard Miami Dan or Felicity's set from that day.
she was like a last minute sub, wasn't she? Kind of thing?
Oh, she was the sub for Dom.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We don't have to get into that, do we?
No, we're
I,
not.
and not if you
Oh,
don't want to. I guess.
No.
I wouldn't mind, but I would kind of mind. You know, it's just one of those things.
Well, you need to make a decision.
Yep.
So Dom was gonna do a set, and then
All right,
he
I'll just say
decided
it. I was
not
gonna
to.
do a set, and it was just some material that I was working on out loud at home, and the lady friend came home and heard it and was kind of disappointed with what I was saying, and I lost my my gumption to do the material.
It is. That's a weird thing that a lot of people don't think about. Is a lot of the material that you do.
It's self-revealing.
It's self-revealing, but it's also revealing for other people around you,
Yeah.
and not always intentionally. But sometimes it's like a key aspect is you're gonna be like, someone I care about, especially relationships, which was with you. And I've done actually quite a bit of material about my girlfriend, and she doesn't always love it.
Right. Yeah, it creates tension, man.
It can, man. I mean, you know, especially if you're talking about like your sex life or, you know,
How your dick doesn't work.
difficulties, how your dick doesn't work. Dumb. and
Oh, jeez.
And maybe hypothetically, some person, let's say they're talking about how their dick doesn't work when they have sex with their girlfriend, and their girlfriend finds out, and then hypothetically she gets really upset because it seems like she's really terrible in bed because
Hypothetically terrible in
this
bed.
is all a hypothetical person, definitely not Don Marzuka on this show we're referring to specifically. And then she says, I don't want you to talk about that because it makes me look like I'm a bad lay because you can't get off when you bang me. And then somebody just decides not to do it. So Dom was a co-host, basically. He was there, and he jumped up and said some things on stage.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about your experience?
Let's see if I can remember the fucking night. You know, we were clearly drinking. Brittany was hosting for the first half of it. Did we do an intermission that night too?
No, we only did intermission on the first one because it was so long.
Yeah, because the first one it was long. We did the intermission, and I remember talking to Sean of OTP. He manages OTP, and he mentioned he was like, really didn't need to do an intermission. Like we lost a lot of people. A lot of people walked out the door during the intermission. So I guess St. Patrick's Day we didn't do an intermission. We're like, eh.
Well, we paid a little more attention to our set times, and so
did we?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
the only one who went long on that one was me, and it's because I was last, and I was kind of like, well, should we just keep going? And people were like, yeah, we're in it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. Well, so then Brittany was doing it for a while, and then she got a little deep in the festivities, and couldn't quite make out what she was saying over the microphone. And so I had the wise idea to grab a hockey stick from the green room, and I pulled her off stage. You guys remember that?
Oh, yeah,
Did
vaguely.
you really do that? I was
You didn't
downstairs.
remember?
I didn't see
you
any
were
of that.
downstairs.
Yeah, I
So I
didn't see that
grabbed a
either.
hockey stick
You
from
literally
the
like
stairs
hooked
to
her
the
off
green
like
room.
an old timey.
Yeah. I pulled her off stage and went up, and I was like, and then I roasted her for like a minute or two.
Nice.
That's my sexy dance. So we have a tendency to pull a few back before the show. I call it nervous drinking because I get scared. I'm like the most outgoing person ever. I will talk your ear off. It's obnoxious. I get it. But you put a microphone in front of my face and I'm like, I don't know what to say. So tonight I've been a little nervous drinking. I don't know.
So tonight we're done with Brittany.
That's a great gong show.
You put a microphone in her face, she starts to mistake it for a dick, and then it starts getting really fucking weird. Trust me, you don't want to see that. You're better off just going home and going on Pornhub and looking up Deep Throwing the Microphone, because that's basically what you would have had in this section. Alright, I'm sorry. I have not introduced myself. My name is Don Mazuka. And I'm a founder or co-founder of this group. And I am proud to say that this has been a tremendous success thanks to all of you. So give it up for yourselves. Yeah, come on! You guys are awesome! And then after that, it was just downhill.
Yeah, maybe.
Because she got a little too inebriated and lost her reason and would keep coming up on stage and interrupting what we were doing. So
that is one thing, too, and we all kind of had to work at it. It was like a feedback I got from my first couple shows is we all wanted to watch each other. We're all really supportive of each other. But we'd be like sitting in the front row kind of like, I don't know, putting ourselves in other people's sets too much. And there was some people in the crowd who basically said that we were kind of a distraction.
Oh, big time. Because I
Yeah.
think what the scenario was that you had the stage, and then to the right of the stage was the access to the green room door that went downstairs. And so we had people going in and out, and there was no curtain. There was nothing
Yeah.
to block that. And
it's
then there was a
big metal
windowsill.
safe door too.
It's a big metal safe door, like for a bank.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
huge and swings open and it's
Yeah.
shiny and shit. So
Yeah,
you
and then we
can't
kept
miss it.
going in and out of there, and so people are trying to watch the stage, but then you could see all of us sitting on the sideline, basically,
Mhm.
and it's not like it was darker over there; it was just as bright there as it was on stage, in a sense. So yeah, we were very distracting. That was one of the biggest complaints,
We also, I just remembered, we charged for that show, didn't we?
unfortunately.
It was like $5 a head.
Yeah,
What-
that was the one we charged
Yeah.
for.
Yeah,
It was a
which
disgrace.
I mean, it felt gross, especially for what a shit show it was. And that's why when we came back after that with the Butcher Knife show, we were like, "This is definitely free
Hmm.
because we
But-
can't, with good conscience, charge people again." Because we talked with Sean, and his idea was like we should charge people, except keep kind of the riffraff out because Desperation Day, as good as it was, there was like it got a little bit rowdy.
There was that one guy.
There's that
Austin.
one guy who wouldn't shut
Yeah.
the fuck up
Yeah, and you corrected him in his place. That was great.
a little bit.
Yeah, I think we all kind of took stabs at him to the
Yeah.
point whereby like
I got on
by
sa-
like the
yeah.
fourth comedian's like, dude, I can't keep doing this. Like, they just because I called him out on that one like a couple of times. Like he corrected me on some math, and I was like, what are you, like a mathematician? Like fuck off. Like, yeah. But yeah, no, like I'm glad they did that for sure. Like,
So yeah, that was the intention. It wasn't like we're so good we need to make a bunch of money. The thought was like, hey, I mean, for Sean at O-Town Pub, he was probably like, if we charge you the door, I don't have to give you any money. You guys can just take the door. And B, it might cut out some of the riffraff, get a little bit nicer crowd. But yeah, it was kind of a sloppy show, is what it came down to. But I mean, we can go over each of our bits. Miles, what was your favorite part of your set?
The part that stands out the most is I talked a lot about Alabama in that one, at least Mardi
Mhm.
Gras, and
Yeah.
just kind of like my own like personal, not really personal, just some work experience, you know.
Their spaces. Now, the Mardi Gras nowadays is a little bit different. There's a lot more titties. But the titties that you see aren't the titties you want to see. Like they're just like orangutan titties, just like yeah, they're not the titties you want to see. So there's stereotypes in both places, New Orleans and Alabama. The biggest thing is that in Alabama Mardi Gras as opposed to New Orleans Mardi Gras, you can actually wear flip-flops downtown. Don't do that in New Orleans, guys. It's like public service announcement: never wear flip-flops in New Orleans. Just never. Like even in regular time, not just Mardi Gras time. Never wear flip-flops. It's a terrible idea. But yeah, no, Mardi Gras is like, actually like a Catholic holiday. We got any Catholics in the house? Any Catholics? No? What? Oh no, yeah, I knew I had some Catholics. Catholics, if I said, "May the force be with you," how would you respond? And also with you. That's right. That's how I can tell my real Catholics in the house. So, anyways, but yeah, basically Mardi Gras now is a reason because it's right before Lent. It's usually 3 days before Lent, and Catholics have to start acting like normal, like human beings. Because they give something up for like 40 days and 40 nights that makes them humanized or something. So yeah, they decided to throw a big party 3 days before Lent. So it's just like this ginormous just drunk fest, like drunken food, and it's pretty awesome if you're not working it. I'm a semi-professional culinarian, which is a $10 word for a line cook. So when you have to like work Mardi Gras, you're trapped. Like it's just a fucking trap. Like they literally block off the streets and you can't escape. It's like partying and working all the time. Instead of partying and bullshit, it's just party and labor and party and labor. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, the money's great, but you're just a drunken, tired mess all the time. It's just like a constant raping. Like, no, that's the thing. Is like, I can see people here that, I worked the line with them, and you can tell they've never worked a Mardi Gras in their life. Like, it just doesn't stop. Like, because you're trapped. You can't go anywhere. Like, the roads are blocked off. Even when you get off work, guess what? You're trapped downtown with booze everywhere. Like, I'm talking dollar butt ices, guys. I'm too cheap to pass that up. Like, I'm way too cheap to... I can get 16 ounces of beer for $1. Yeah, sober kids in Africa. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. But You know, Mardi Gras, like, if you're not working it and you're enjoying it, it's still not that bad. The thing that is really hilarious is the throws. They just throw shit at you. Like, it's great. Like, these parades are walking by, you got this badass music playing, like fucking marching bands, and you're wasted. You're just standing there looking at all these cool things. You start thinking, man, I'm kind of hungry. And all of a sudden, just, fuck, what was that? And a whole box of Nutty Buddies just falls into your hands. And you're like, oh, it does pay off to be Catholic.
I guess I like going over that a little bit, but this was my one set like I've written for a lot of. I actually remember like hardcore having to like sit down and like write for this set because we were like we put the pressure on. Like I said, we just kind of like we were still on that high from that last set,
Mm-hmm.
and then we went right into this one. I feel like pretty much just like right then. So like I actually felt like I needed to write and. Lately, you guys see what happens when I actually write shit down. Like it actually isn't that good. when I actually like put pen to paper, I get in too much in my own thoughts. Like I freestyle way better than I think I give myself credit for. Actually, like because I actually try and write stuff down sometimes, and it just sounds terrible.
I mean, you freestyle well. There was just like when you just did the Chief Theater, you did your bit with the knives and like the names of your knives, which I really love that bit. But I remembered parts of it that you forgot.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the drawback of like relying on the freestyle is there's more likelihood to lose some minor details and things
Absolutely,
like that.
dude. There's like I look back and I was like, dude, there's so much more I want to talk about.
Yeah.
But you know, looking back, like, you know, timing's always been a issue for me as far as like I don't know if I've gone too long, gone too short. I know at the Desperation Day show, I definitely went over, and I know I really compensated hard at the St. Patty's Day show to actually stay in time.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I halfway gave a crap, which you got a halfway gave a crap performance I think out of me, and then. I got a little too. That was the ones where I had to do the soft open, I think, because we had Felicity go on first, who was the noob, and then we had.
And she did pretty well, from what I remember.
Yeah. I don't think she did bad.
I mean, she went up in 2 of the shows as kind of like a last minute sub, and she did pretty well on both of them.
Yeah,
So
and
shout out to Felicity.
Yeah, and then we had Miami Dan, who did his usual ice breaking, and after that, it kind of was like I felt like I had to be the real icebreaker a little bit, and. I felt like Dom told me like after one of our first shows that I was a lot like Kinnison, so I was doing a lot of yelling, like
ow,
a lot of yelling, and I feel like now I'm just maybe just like a cunt hair quieter. I mean, like, just a little bit, dude. Like I it's going back and hearing what you sound like, and then hearing me scream. Oh my god, dude, that's. Kind of cringy, but I mean, it worked.
I actually thought when we just listened to it, I thought it was kind of funny. It worked.
It worked, but it's like I almost felt like like is that what I'm doing now? Do I have to scream to get laughs? But I mean, I don't know. Like sometimes it just comes out, and whatever people laugh at, they laugh at.
Right? Yeah.
So it's whatevs.
You know who's one of the hardest people to follow at the Comedy Store? You listen to any podcast of famous comedians, right?
Patrice O'Neill.
No, he's dead, so he's
Yeah.
pretty easy to follow. You just gotta walk to a gravestone,
Yeah.
Oh,
and then walk away. But right now it's Joey Diaz, like
Oh,
that. He's a
yeah.
killer. Like everyone's
And
afraid
he's
to follow
super
him.
high energy.
High
too.
energy.
My
like you.
parents saw him and said he was amazing. They're like, "Oh, we saw some comedian. He was really funny." And I was like, "Oh yeah, who was it?" They're like, Joey Diaz." I was like, "Oh, you saw Joey Diaz?"
Yeah, it's like it's a treat to see him.
Dude, I would love to go see Joey Diaz. But
I need to Google Joey Diaz.
oh, he's great.
Oh, for sure, you need to Google him. If you've never watched any of his sets, you have that gift of being able to have that kind of like. I imagine it comes from a place of anxiety, right? Like you get up there and you get all worked up, and then you just start screaming at people.
Well, that's
Yeah,
half
right.
my humor is rant humor, So really, all you got to do is get me like ranting on something, anything, and I will eventually get loud and sometimes funny. Like that's
Always loud, occasionally funny.
yeah, and sometimes I don't know, man. Like the loud humor, it's either you like it or you don't. That's the problem, and I guess I think too much about it maybe. But I yelled, I think, way too much. Like looking back on it in that show, but that's just
It's also like you were probably feeling the vibe of the room, and it was kind of a rowdy room.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's also one thing I've taken into consideration now is sometimes, like, I'll do it now. I mean, like, to trying to find my point here. Like, when you have to go, like, in the first half of the show, sometimes that is kind of your job is literally just to get the crowd kind of worked up a little bit, kind of soften them up.
Sure.
So that might require a little bit of yelling, but do I want to keep yelling? I don't know. I might start whisper comedy.
That's something you can probably
Whisper
work out.
comedy. Please don't try whisper
And we'll
comedy.
all snap our fingers
Oh,
instead
don't
of
do it.
clap.
Actually, I
Instead of
immediately
clapping.
regret this decision. Whisper comedy was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I'm glad that was short.
Well, I mean, that's what open mic is for. And you can come to Steamboat Comedy Open Mic this Tuesday and every other Tuesday after that at the Barley.
yeah.
Be sure while you're at the Barley to sample the delicious Butcher Knife Amputator IPA.
Butcher Knife Amputator IPA.
Oh my
What a
God,
fantastic
it's
treat.
So delicious. Just the maltiness just gives, oh my God, such a great balance of hops and deliciousness.
Mhm.
Butcher Knife Amputator IPA.
Yes. Please sponsor us. Please sponsor us.
Please.
All right. Moving on. Spencer Powell, what is your recollection of the St. Patrick's Day special?
No, it's just, I mean, like you said, everything was just kind of off balance the whole time. Like going into it, it was just different. The crowd felt different.
There was also, we were kind of riding a lot of momentum off the first show because
Mhm.
that was out of the blue and like word got around town that it was good. So I think there was a little bit more pressure too,
Well, I mean, I felt every bit as confident. In fact, I felt more confident going to the second one, and maybe too confident. And also too, since it was a St. Patty's Day special, so all of our acts were curated for the drunken holiday, basically.
Yeah.
That was
and-
pretty much everyone's subject matter.
Yeah, I mean, the poster even had like a drunk leprechaun on it, and he just looked awful. That just looked like complete garbage. Or wait,
Yeah, I have the poster on my wall actually behind us.
yeah, that's not the one. What was the one? Is that
No,
the
that
one
was
that
the
was
one.
posted on the internet? No. I'm not. I'm talking about the one with the drunken leprechaun. You guys remember what I'm talking about?
Oh,
No.
yeah, it was a crudely. Yeah.
I didn't see
Yeah,
that one.
you did see. So it's not just something my mind created. 'cause
No,
I
I'm
was
pretty sure you
genuinely-
actually saw like the leprechaun doing this many. You can't see me, but it's like the drunken Irish.
Like the
Yeah.
Notre Dame mascot with the fists up, the Dukes
yeah,
up.
Yeah, but, like-
there was one of those up with like crudely like come to. Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a
OTP.
happy drunk leprechaun. It was like 40 years deep of alcoholism. This leprechaun looked like garbage. But
Like
so-
it's a leprechaun who beats his kids and
yeah.
yeah.
He's never found his pot of gold. That's the
No,
problem.
dude.
Yeah,
No.
no, that
Whole
kid,
life.
that guy definitely doesn't have custody. Like his kids are far away in a much safer place.
On the other side of the rainbow.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
other side.
right. He gets to
side.
visit
Playing
the
with
other
that
side of the
fucking
rainbow
rabbit.
once
Yeah.
a week.
Oh.
Yeah.
But no, so yeah, so the material itself was even kind of centered towards kind of drunken debauchery,
Yeah.
and I think that kind of
it almost like
affected-
riled up the crowd more. And then you had like
Yeah.
Brittany, of course, was up there hammered and was like, "This is all
Yeah.
about being hammered." And then
Yeah, because I didn't drink at all. I never drink before the shows because I worry I'm gonna forget stuff. Even though there's probably a few times where I should have. In fact, during this show, I feel like a few drinks would have leveled me out because I kind of slurred through my routine in almost like a drunk fashion, but it was really just
because you
kind
were
of
too
like
sober.
yeah. Well, it was like it was in my head that this is all just this is gonna be the shitty drunken bit. This is gonna be like I'm talking about alcohol. I even talk about cocaine for a bit.
Cavemen.
Yeah, cavemen.
A guy
Dude,
named
that's one of my
Jerry.
favorite jokes.
know-
you
Yeah,
ever
no,
done,
I
by the
thought
way.
that your set was great.
Yeah,
Spencer.
like
No,
that was
I-
like your caveman bit. Like I
Oh.
heard it again tonight when we listened to. Dude, I actually.
I'm gonna play it right now on
Yeah.
the thing.
You know what I always thought was funny about alcohol is that, like we've been drinking for a minute, like as a species. Like alcohol's been around for a while, Like, you realize booze is older than math? Like, it's older than 2 plus 2. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's not like it's a simple thing. Like, how did this even come about? You know, it's basically like some guy's like, hey guys, like, guess what? Like, I just figured out a way to like make a fire and then like keep it there and we can just hang out around it. And they're like, oh, what? What? Fire? Should we bring our beers? He's like, yeah, bring the beers. Fuck yeah, bring the beers. This is gonna be great. Yeah, of course, bring the beers. Like, come on. You know, it trips me out to like think about how that came about, because we have no idea really how old alcohol is. Like, how long have we been getting drunk? We don't really know. Like, as long as people have been writing shit down, people have been like writing like drunk scribble messages to chicks that they're into. You know, just like, Jesus, like, friggin'. Because I mean, how did it happen? It's not a simple thing. It's basically like some dude is like in his tribe, and he's like, hey guys, so like I got a bunch of this old fruit and a bunch of other shit we haven't named yet. And it's just been sitting here for like weeks, and I was probably gonna toss it, honestly. But if one of you guys want to do something with it, you know, and this one guy steps forward and is like, I've got a good feeling about this. I have a really good feeling about this. Why don't you throw that rotten friggin' fruit friggin' pile my way? I'm gonna bring and take it to the house, you know. And then a couple years later, he's like, or a couple hours later, he's like, wake up, motherfuckers! Hello, guess what? Jerry, I'm in love with your sister, and I can take all of you in a fight right now. And they're like, what the? This guy's lost his fucking mind. Like, no. You know, and then, after the first person gets drunk ever, comes the first hangover ever. And I don't know about you guys, but every time I get a hangover, I feel like I'm about to die. But imagine those people who didn't know they weren't gonna die. They're like, oh my God, guys, why did we eat the rotten fruit pile? Why did we think that was a good idea? This is it. You know, I had a long life. You know, I lived to the old age of 32. That's a good run. That's a good run considering the times. Modern medicine.
No, I loved all of that bit, but it wasn't my delivery wasn't polished. You just heard it. You just heard all the ums. You heard me, you know.
Yeah, but I guess the thing is,
like
I'm looking past the ums, and even so, dude, like that was good writing. I don't know. I
that's
really
kind of
enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, that's what we were talking about earlier about listening to that show now compared to where we're at this point. It's not that our material was shit at the St. Patrick's Day thing. It's just that we're all so much more polished now because of the practice. Mm-hmm. There's a lot less, like in the Chiefs show, there's a lot less there's a lot less fucking and you know.
Or my
like
cough laughs. My cough laughs are horrible. Did you hear those? Yeah. That's just me trying to buy time. Like, what was I supposed to say? Because I didn't rehearse that much. You know, it's like, what should I say? I'll just awkwardly cough laugh for the audience.
What do you guys do to buy time when you're up there? Like, if you're trying to like remember something, what do you do? I know what I do. I'll look down at the ground and I'll like turn around and kind of like talk slow. Yeah.
I've noticed.
I think it plays off pretty well because it looks like I'm deep in thought, which I guess technically I am because I'm trying to remember what the hell I'm doing.
Right, yeah.
But
it's working.
Yeah.
Do I have any actual like long drawn pauses? I feel like I just kind of like I move too fast and I just go right to the next one. Like I actually want to listen back and see like how long my pauses are now that I think about it.
I feel like I hear you say a lot of like, so yeah, you guys, you know, you say things like that, and then you know, you basically never stop talking.
You kind of sound like you're trying to level with the crowd.
Yeah.
Like, let's be like, all right, so look, you guys.
Yeah,
All
right.
So
anyway,
I'm gonna come clean here.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
I like that actually. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm negotiating with him. Hey,
it's
what
a
I might
kind of
say
negotiation.
next?
Yeah.
It might be words.
Yeah, I don't know. Don, what do you do?
I kind of just like not respond, you know, You know, like a computer program can sometimes just stop responding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's kind of what I do.
And you just,
Right.
you
I
have
just
to,
stand up on stage and I just put my hand on the mic stand.
And you just freeze, and,
I
you
just,
see a
I
little
just
wheel
stare.
spin.
Yeah, like it's like if you looked at my eyes, you just see the little wheel spinning.
but you
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 can't look at
grabbing.
my eyes because you're sitting down in the crowd. So I just look into the crowd and I'm thinking about it, and then I'll like smile or something, or and then people are like waiting for me to say it, and then they go, "This guy's got great delivery." Like, no, I'm just not
Now-
responding.
I'm just malfunctioning
Yeah,
right
So
it's
now.
what is your Control Alt Delete then? Like what? Like I feel like you grabbing the mic stand was your Control Alt Delete. Like
That's your reset.
yeah, like
yeah.
yeah.
grab it,
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, and then I'm scrolling through the programs and I see the 166,000. What is it measured in? Whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh well, that's computing
But
a
your
little
porn
too
tab
much.
is really just actually up in your brain. That's why
Yeah,
not
that's
responding.
what's happening, Miles.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
when I'm
sure.
on stage and I can't think of where I'm supposed to go next,
You're
I'm
like,
just imagining
porn.
pornography.
Porn.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm just seeing things fucking, and that's kind of what is happening.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
That
getting
checks out.
fucked
Yeah.
at that point.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Metaphors.
Yeah.
Wait,
lot
is
of
that even a
metaphors.
metaphor? I don't even know.
Yeah, he didn't say like.
It's not a simile then.
It's not a simile. It's a metaphor
You're a metaphor
for.
for short people. I don't know.
Hey, fuck off, dude.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, and then for my section, again, like, so we just listened to it again, so we had a refresher to know what to talk about. It was the first time we had listened to it in a long time. At least for me, it was the first time I listened to the show. I don't know, basically since we did it.
Yeah, this was my first time listening to it in a long time too.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I really wish we could. We need to make some time to watch all of it because we only listen to segments, just to
Yeah.
refresh our memory.
No.
I
Dude,
dude,
like never listen to it again.
No,
bury
I
it in the sea.
I decided not to listen to it when it's recorded. Cool. I'm gonna watch porn instead. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do something that makes
Well,
me.
you didn't have. It's
Yeah.
not like you didn't really even do a
Yeah,
set, so
I know
it's not
I
that
didn't.
embarrassing
and
for you.
Well, it was because I was prepared to do it, as we discussed, and I didn't do it. So it's kind of a shameful thing. And then, not to mention, it was just a shit show. It was like all negative feedback after. the show.
Well, I didn't get all negative feedback. I got
Mhm.
it was like
it was mixed.
the people who were
reviews.
there were like, yeah, it was fun, but the word around town was it was a shit show.
Yeah,
They're
that's
like, yeah, like, oh, the St. Patrick's Day show. I heard it was a drunken shit show.
Yeah.
I heard like that phrasing, a
which I
lot.
guess is not not the worst thing in the world when you consider what holiday was being celebrated.
Yeah,
Like, that makes sense.
I mean, if we were doing like a Christmas special and it was a drunken shit show,
Yeah,
you'd be like,
that's
That's-
appropriate.
I actually.
that'd make way more
I,
sense.
yeah, but I was like, I actually really want to do a Christmas special now called the Drunken Shit Show. Can we make that a thing?
Yeah, big
Honestly,
time.
I think a lot of people would be into that.
Yeah.
Like, the
Yeah.
holidays are depressing for
Yeah.
more
Oh,
people.
the
than-
holidays are for
yeah.
getting drunk.
Yeah.
Because how else do you tolerate your family? You know?
Right.
Oh yeah.
If
By
you
not
have
being with
one.
them?
You're
By
lucky enough to
staying
have
here.
one.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Yeah. Christmas here. Yeah, drunken shit show at somewhere.
Santa's shed. When he's gotten back
Yeah.
from delivery.
That sounds kind of.
Santa's shed.
Yeah.
I think workshop is the term you're looking for.
No,
No,
that's
that's where-
not the thing. We're not
That's
going
where
to
the elves
workshop.
hang out.
Oh,
No,
the
we're-
shed is
yeah,
where
the
he
shed is
drinks
where-
like hard whiskey.
Yeah,
Yes,
fucking-
and he talks to the reindeer, and they're not talking back, and they're just like,
Yeah.
Santa's on a bender again.
Yeah. Like, he doesn't do those things in the workshop. That's the place of work. He goes to his shed where
Right.
he has a recliner and
Mm.
maybe like 2 tools, but they're just for opening beer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he just has a hammer that he hammers open his beers with.
yeah, I'm working on a special project.
He just
Miss
opens
Kringle.
beers on an elf. He just has like his bottom bitch elf. That he's come here,
He's actually
Bendy, or I don't know.
Bendy.
come here, Bendy.
Mrs. Claus isn't giving it anymore. You come over here and open
Yeah.
up. I don't know.
So she could bend
Let's go
the
play
bottle
some
cap
reindeer
just enough so you
games.
could pull it off. Is that why she's called Bendy?
Bendy, yeah,
Could be.
could be.
Yeah.
Bendy is my favorite character on Futurama.
Bendy Rodriguez,
Is that his last name?
made in Mexico.
You have a lot in common with him, huh?
He was my favorite. He's the one I related most to when I watched Futurama.
Oh, Bender's the best.
He's the best, man.
I was kind of annoyed with Bender, honestly. I got sick of him after a while. I got sick of him.
Dude, Bender's the best.
Who's your favorite Futurama character?
Amy's parents, the Wong family.
Oh my God.
They're on Mars, practically.
Yeah.
Do they own it's like a golf resort on a planet or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So great.
They have to like herd giant crickets or something.
Some
Sure.
yeah. Shit. God, Futurama is so goddamn obscure. Anywho. So again, let's bring this back to what's important, which is me.
Ah, dude.
Thank you.
Gross.
But no, like when we listened to it again, as I was saying before, I didn't, and it could have been how it was mic'd, to be fair to me. But there was a lot of parts that I thought got laughs, and then we listened to it, and there was like no laughs to be heard.
Boo.
Yeah,
boo.
Yeah, they're all like, "Fuck you!"
Specifically, what I hear mainly in your set, honestly, is the ambient noise of like
Oh, so
bar
much.
chatter. Like it
Bar
literally
tracks.
it literally sounds like bar tracks or
I
you
feel like
know.
I think I was just getting like a lot of like smiles and nods, or something like that. Because I remember thinking like this is going really well, but then we listened to it and there's no noise of confirmation to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one thing I want to give you props for actually is because dude like I mean I respond to laughter sometimes and you just persevered like straight through like you got like a couple chuckles but like you just went joke and then joke and then joke like you just kept going
Just
like you
fucking
didn't
plowed
care
through.
just
What else you gonna do?
hey dude I props to you man.
Take your clothes off.
I mean that's what Kendra would do. I just pace.
Old perfect tits Magoo
Oh, perfect it's Magoo.
or McGee, I forget.
What would it take for you guys to whip your dick out on stage?
Like
Nothing.
$75.
75.
It would
Yeah.
take someone to be like, Kyle, whip your dick out on stage, and I'd be like, okay.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
It's not much.
That yeah, I need a silver briefcase.
I've done a fair amount of public nudity. I was a stripper for a bachelorette party one time,
That's
which is another story I'm gonna tell sometime. And then I also went streaking through my junior homecoming, which is another story for another time.
I got drunk with a bunch of friends one day. We went streaking in the neighborhood once. I agreed to do it, and it yeah, that happened. But it's been it. It's been it.
I feel like the term streaking implies that it's really fast. So what's a mile speed streak?
Oh,
actually,
that's
none of us were
good.
very
That's
fast at
good.
all. We actually all just went for a walk around our neighborhood, and we were just like, "What up?" And then like yeah.
It's like what's a term? What's slower than a streak?
A crawl.
Smear.
A stroll.
A
You went
smear.
strolling.
We went
A
smearing.
smearing.
I went smearing.
A
'Cause
meat
it's not a
smear.
streak. Like, because I feel like a streak is like, you know, like
It's like a
something.
blur.
Yeah, like something
Yeah.
like you make really fast on a window. You know, like a streak, you know, you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a smear is like.
It's like
Like, what do you do?
it's
when
like you ever seen the movie Pop Star? When the guy puts his dick on the mirror and then they roll on the window and they roll the window up in
that's
the
a very
limousine.
underrated movie, yes. But I was actually thinking like a pickle race at Waffle House.
What?
If you never had, yeah, you don't have
It's
Waffle House.
featured
not
in
from
that movie
Alabama.
Billy Madison starring Adam Sandler.
But I didn't know that actually. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, I just in Alabama we used to like we'd go to Waffle House and you always get little pickles on the side with your burger, or hash browns, or I don't know whatever pickles were a garnish at Waffle House. But you would take them and now you would throw them at the window and then you'd watch them slide down as slowly as possible.
So there's just
Yeah.
pickle smears all over the
Oh, dude,
windows
no,
at
like,
Waffle House.
Honestly, our Waffle House waitresses were lucky if they just had pickle races. Like we usually got in white trash brawls out front.
Oh my god!
Talking to you, Jason Murphin, you know who I'm talking about.
That just reminded me of a story I had. I was completely obscure. I forgot about it. One time, me and my buddy Lane Smith, shout out, we decided to go to McDonald's and throw our pickles at the glass and stick them on the wall. You know what I mean, or on the glass. And we're pieces of shit.
No, I just don't understand what this thing is about throwing pickles on windows.
Because they stick and it's funny. But what
Okay.
we did, we intentionally made sure we threw like 6 of them on the glass and then we went outside and we threw another pickle like in the same spot, but it was on the outside, just to know that there's gonna be some guy who's like, oh, and he's going to clean it, and then he
Oh my-
realizes there's one on the outside, and he has to like, oh, on the outside to get it.
Dude, I remember one day like
Oh, it's fucked
somebody
Oh,
decided to
terrible
like
people.
glue a quarter down on the ground in high school.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. And, like you see everybody go reach down and like try and pick it up and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah, well then you just see the janitor come by and he just whips out like a crowbar and he just like ka-ching! And just like rips it up and picks it up and just looks around all like menacingly like can't get me.
Yeah, right. Motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I've seen it all.
See it all. This
That reminds me of the poop dollar, though. You ever done a poop dollar?
a poop dollar.
Oh, yeah.
Elaborate, sir.
All right. So you take a very small amount of human excrement and you put it in a dollar. And then you put the dollar on the sidewalk and you watch people pick it up and realize that they're picking up poop.
Oh my god.
It's a great time.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never experimented with the poop dollar, you're missing out. It's a great time.
Experimented with the poop dollar.
I guess maybe not experiment. If you've never
Had a poop dollar experience.
you've never done the poop dollar, you're missing out. It's a great time.
Poop dollar, everybody. Try it. Kyle Ruff.
But okay, but those are all true stories.
Yeah.
Speaking of stories, though, we were listening to my set again for the first time.
Oh,
in a while.
dude, the true story about the thing that you did
Yeah.
at the college.
Yes.
Yeah, tell it. Play it. Actually, just play it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a drinking story I have. So when I was in college, I was on the rugby team, and I like to describe rugby as kind of being like a fraternity, only minus like the sodomy and stuff. You know what I mean? Plus sports minus sodomy. You know, so it's all just about getting drunk and rowdy. And like a big thing we do is you go to parties and you just try to be a hooligan and just fuck things up. You know. Eee! She gets it. She gets it. Did you say fuck my ass? Anyways. So one thing that my roommate and I, we were in a local party and we decided to be rowdy. We were going to steal a keg in the middle of the party and bring it home. And we did. We literally just grabbed the keg and walked through the front door and no one said anything and we went all the way home and that keg was still there from the time I graduated. Which I thought was awesome, but we tried it another time in a different town. So we were in another town. It was like our rival, and they have a big like winter festival. And it was like snow everywhere, and like dead of winter. And we decided we were going to go to this party and steal the keg. And so me and my buddy, we were like, oh, we're going to do it. We grabbed the keg, and we're walking by the front door like, oh my God, it's going to be awesome. And right when we get to the door, this guy turns to us, some big dude, and he's like, what are you doing? And I just kind of looked up, and there was this moment where it's like fight or flight, you know what I mean? And I looked at him, and fight or flight kicked in, and I decided to do neither. And this is what I did. I went, I literally fell into a snowbank and played possum. I'm not even kidding. I pretended to be dead or passed out or something. I saw him and I fell over. And I sat there, and about 40 seconds later, I looked around, and they were all gone. I was like, did this really just work? Are you kidding me? So I got up and I looked around, the keg was gone, everybody was gone. I came back in, even my friends didn't even seem to notice. Like, okay, well, I guess that was successful. So when in doubt, especially here in Steamboat where there's padding, fall over. That's my advice to you.
Yeah, that's a true story. That keg, someone actually like made a seat that like fit on the top. It was like a piece of wood with like a cushion. So this keg served as a chair for like the last several years of college. And it was very awesome.
Yeah.
And then somehow none of my friends remember me falling in the snow and faking being alive to get out of stealing a keg from Michigan Tech.
Were they all just as frightened or something?
I don't know.
Hmm.
It was one of those things. It's like, am I dreaming? Like this just happened? Because
I'll just be honest. There's just something about like thievery stories that's just great. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
About what stories?
Thievery stories, like stealing things.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stole hot dogs.
How do you sleep at night?
Knowing that I dumped him at Kyle's front yard. That's how.
Oh, you fucking dick! I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
Again, another story for another time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so there's actually the computer that we record this on cut out in the middle of this, and if we're really good at editing it, you won't know what point it is. So, as a contest, if you can figure out at what point in time we had to stop this podcast and re-record it,
We'll
send
send
us.
you $1 in the mail.
I was gonna say if
And
you
it'll have poop on it.
got you good, you rookie fuck. No, if you can figure out what time it is, or what time signature it is where we had to re-record, you can send a message to us at Twitter at Steamboat Comedy, or on Instagram at Steamboat Comedy, or on Facebook at Steamboat Comedy. And if you get it right, our official sponsor, Butcher Knife.
Oh, actually, I will mail you my personal butcher knife bandana that I've worn on stage. Like
I feel like we
times.
might be stepping into like people that have just maybe cursory knowledge of like analyzing audio files will just
Don't
be like, oh yeah,
overanalyze
just
it.
right here.
Ah.
Actually, you did it at these 4 points, and I can just.
Oh
see
yeah,
by
well
the
I mean I
waves.
edit the shit out of these. I got to cut out everything Spencer says, and that's really hard to do.
Right.
So he won't shut the fuck up. But if you can guess it right, you can take. I'll mail you a coupon, and you can take it to Butcher Knife, and they will give you a beer at the full menu price. So, thank you all very much for listening. Much appreciated. Signing off. Say goodbye, Dom.
Have a good night.
Miles?
Or morning. Or
Yeah,
afternoon.
deuces, people.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
And Spencer.
Say
I-
yo-
you
how do you
guys
say
know I
yo and
hate
bye?
this.
Yeah,
hate being put on
really
the
just
spot.
the worst.
Yeah, goodbye.
They get it. You know, they
Blah,
probably
blah,
press
blah,
pause
blah.
by now anyway.
Yeah.
Or the little 15-second button with the thing going around it. You know, let's fast forward through this shit.
For their own good.
But we love them.
Okay, bye.